Woo! What's going on, guys? Orms Farm coming at you guys today with another video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about another draft prospect that I'm really digging. Quarterback Malik Willis out of the Liberty Flames. Now, 6'1", 220 pounds, about 22 years old. 2 years at Auburn, 2 years at Liberty. Didn't really get to play much at Auburn when he was there. They had Jarrett Stidham. He was behind Jarrett Stidham. I know. They were already committed to Bo Nix coming in, another dual threat guy. So he was kind of lost in the shuffle. But 5,176 yards throwing, 48 touchdowns through the air, 18 picks at a 62.8 completion percentage. Rushing 2,131 yards, 5.8 yards per carry, 29 touchdowns on the ground for 4 years in college, 2 at Auburn, 2 at Liberty. Actually had to sit out the 2019 season because he transferred from Auburn to Liberty. In the old transfer rules, you had to sit out a full year. So he had to do that. So he'd probably be coming out when he was 21 years old, but he's 22. He's still young, just a pup. This is a kid that's got lots of talent, but very, very raw. And like I said, was at Auburn for 2 years behind Stidham, already committed to Bo Nix coming in. So he even self admits that he was a very immature kid when he was at Auburn. Decided to look into going to a new college team, and Liberty was his choice. So he was an SEC guy. He had the talent enough to go to Auburn. Didn't get a lot of offers in high school. I think he even had to switch high schools, I believe, to get a little bit more notoriety, just to get noticed by some more big-time colleges. And only Auburn gave him the opportunity and gave him an offer, and he ran with it, but just didn't get much playing time. I think he rushed for a few hundred yards, a couple touchdowns as a quarterback there. Only threw like 11 passes, I think. Maybe threw 1 touchdown, so all his touchdowns came as a Liberty Flame. Rushing and throwing the ball at Liberty was his main thing. Obviously, he's a dual threat quarterback. And 1 year it was 30-something. The next year he hit 40 total overall touchdowns. So he got into the end zone and was a big part of that Liberty offense. Like I said, a transfer from Auburn. Had to sit out a year because of the old transfer rules. 2019 sat that whole year out when he went to Liberty. He's built low to the ground. He's a stocky kid, thick upper body, big legs, hard to tackle, dual threat quarterback kid. Tremendous athlete. Didn't really play a lot under center as a quarterback at either Auburn or Liberty, where he was a 2-year starter at Liberty. So he needs to learn to be under center, and he was doing that a lot at the Senior Bowl too under Dan Campbell and quarterback Mark Brunell. They were trying to get him going. He's able to bootleg really well, so he can either side of the ball. He has a problem going right, no problem going left. He can throw from both angles. He's capable of doing that. He works the sidelines very well as a quarterback. Really nice throws. Times his throws nicely with his wide receivers. He's got a lot of ability in that aspect. Very elusive and can change his speed when running the football, obviously. Creates something out of nothing. We saw, if you want to go just look at highlights, you can go look at highlights. I try to look at more than that, obviously, when I look at these quarterbacks. But if you go look at the highlights of quarterback Malik Willis, his O-line was complete trash. Okay, his O-line was complete trash, and he was running for his life at Liberty. It's probably one of his greatest strengths, obviously, besides having a really strong arm, which he does have a very strong arm, NFL arm, to tell you the truth. But if you go look at his highlights, man, he's running around like a chicken with his head cut off, just trying to make plays. That's what he's all about. Doesn't go out of bounds or anything like that, but he's going to need to change a little bit of his game. You don't want to mess too much with this kid's game, but he needs to switch some things up, obviously, to be an NFL quarterback. Now, with the positives come the negatives. His height isn't really ideal. He's only 6'1", but he is built. He's a built quarterback. But going at 6'1", he's not your ideal prototypical quarterback. But a lot of these guys, you don't have to be that. You don't have to be huge anymore. Does have some ball security issues. He had 14 fumbles and 5 fumbles for loss as a Liberty Flame. I don't know if he really had any fumbles as an Auburn Tiger, but he did have some fumbles as a Liberty Flame, and he needs to hold on to the football big time. Now, he improved those numbers in his second year. I think his first year he had double digit fumbles, like 11, and then he had like 3 or 4 the following year. So he improved that at least, and he took like 51 sacks his second year at Liberty. That's how bad his O-line was, you know. And there's things with it too. And it's not just completely on the O-line's fault or the wide receivers or tight ends, running backs who he's throwing the ball to. He's a one-read guy, and he tends to, I use the word panic. I know it freaks some people out if I use the word panic, but that's what he kind of does. He kind of sees something. He's a one-read guy. He doesn't see what he likes, tucks and runs. Now, a lot of people disagree with me on that, but that's from the tape I watched and the Liberty games I have watched. That's what he kind of does. But he comes from a one-read offense. He does have a bad O-line. Wide receivers, running backs, tight ends weren't necessarily the greatest strength at Liberty. But it is what it is. He took sacks. He's a one-read guy. He needs to go through his progressions. Now, he's a kid that really needs to learn that. And Mark Brunell has came out and said that, hey, this kid was going through his reads at the Senior Bowl. He was doing everything we asked him. He's very coachable. He's this, he's that. He's at the combine right now. He played well. It's the underwear Olympics. We know this. No real pressure out there. Too much pressure anyways. You got nobody really coming at you. You got guys wide open. You're throwing balls. They want to see you throwing on short routes, medium routes, and in the long ball. He had some loft on his ball. That's one thing that he didn't have it in college. He was always trying to throw the ball through a brick wall. A missile. He's throwing missiles. Now he needs to learn how to, loosen up those reins a little bit. Just kind of gear back a little bit. Don't be so aggressive. His footwork is a little bit choppy at times. He takes too many steps. Gets a little bit worried. He's got those happy feet. Just like the Penguin, just like the movie, the Disney movie, Happy Feet. Just a little bit too much. He'll take a ton of hits as well too because he tucks and runs, and he took a lot of sacks. He took like I said, over 50 his second year, and like his first year as a Liberty Flame, I think he took like 20 something or 30 something sacks. He gets hit a lot, and he tucks and runs, but he's built. He's a big kid, but he'll be going up against bigger, stronger, faster guys in the NFL, and he'll need how to learn how to run out of bounds, something that he didn't like to do, or slide, something that he didn't really do at all. So he's going to need to learn some of that if you want to stay healthy and you want to stay upright for your NFL team. So on every ball is a missile, like I said too. And then sometimes when he's on the run and he's got a little bit of pressure, he'll float a ball. Sometimes he'll just kind of throw it up in the air, and it leads to interceptions. It leads to just bad throws, this and that. And his downfield accuracy needs to be worked on as well. He's pretty accurate, almost at a 63% clip as a college quarterback, but down the field, not as well. So he needs to work on a lot of those things. He needs to work on his timing. He needs to work on his footwork, his arm angles, all that stuff. Just gets a little bit too aggressive. Now, there's been comparisons to Trey Lance, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson. Now, when I look at this kid, I try to find, you just want him to be Malik Willis. I get that, but it's fun to try to compare former players or current players to said player. So when I look at this kid, he reminds me a lot of Lamar Jackson with better arm strength. Now, Lamar Jackson, you guys know how I kind of feel about Lamar Jackson. I think he's a running back playing quarterback. I just really do. I think he makes a lot of mental errors. He does a lot of things that would make you pull your hair out as a head coach or a quarterback coach. And I see a little bit of that in Malik Willis. He's going to wow you for 2 plays in a row, and then for 2-3 plays in a row, he's going to make you go completely insane on him, yelling at him. You're just not going to like the way he goes through his progressions or goes through playing the game, because he's a very, very talented kid. But I think a lot of it is up there with him. A lot of it is mental with him, and he needs to learn the mental part of the game first. All the physical traits are there. Every single physical trait that you want to think of is there. You know, he's not very tall, but he's built. He's stocky. He can run. He can run. His arm strength is, he can make every throw in the NFL that you want. He's got the strength. He does have the capability to lob a ball too, to take some off. He needs to learn how to do that a little bit more, but he's capable of doing all of that. Now, he's very raw, like I said, and he should not start day one. Whatever team drafts this kid, they should not draft him. His physical traits are there. They're through the roof, but he needs to develop. He needs developing big time. I don't know who's going to draft him. You know, there's talk of the Lions drafting him at 2. There's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers are in love with him. There's talk of the Carolina Panthers like him. There's talk about him dropping to 34, possibly. There's just all kinds of different rumors. Now, I don't think he ran at the combine, because I think he's trying to, from what I heard from, I think it was Charles Davis. I think it was Charles Davis at the combine right now, was saying stuff like he didn't run because he doesn't want anybody to, any coaches, any teams telling him to run routes. He doesn't want to show off his speed. People already know that he's got decent speed. He's in the, people say that he has ran a 4.3. People say he's a 4.5 guy. You know, so I don't really know where he is. I know he's got good speed. When you watch him run, he's elusive. He can run through you. He can run around you. He can make you miss. He does all that stuff. He does everything you want as a runner. There's just no issue with him as a runner. I think he needs to learn how to slide a little bit, though. But that's a whole other case, and that's what teams will need to focus on. But he's a guy that's raw. He's a guy that's probably going to sit. You know, if the Steelers take him, are they going to play Mason Rudolph over him? I don't know. I think they should. Because I think it's a kid that needs developing. You know, some guys can be thrown into the fire. I don't know if he really can. I think there's a lot of mental parts to his game that he needs to adjust on. But I do think he's a first-round pick. I really do. I think he's going in the first round. Do I think he should be drafted in the first round? I'm still on the fence with it. I'm still on the fence with the Lions taking him, because we need so much more. I'm going to trust whatever Brad Holmes does, but I'm on the fence with taking him. I don't want him at 2. I will admit that. If he's there at 32 or 34, that's a whole other story. I don't think he will be, though. People are going to fall in love with this kid because he's such a good kid. He was just seen at the combine, too, as well, walking by a homeless lady. And he gave away, he had a swag bag that they give away to all the college prospects. And he ended up giving her a bunch of stuff. And he was on film being recorded doing it. Now, I don't think it was a setup. I don't think it was phony. I think this kid's a legitimate good kid. You know, he had some maturity issues when he was younger, grew up when he went to Liberty, you know, saw some things, and he changed his views on life, on football, and everything above. So he's a great kid. I just don't know about drafting him in the first round, but I think he's definitely going to get drafted in the first round. But that's my take on Malik Willis. Thanks for paying attention, guys. Don't forget to like and share. Hit the comment, but hit the subscribe button. Get all my videos, and hit the notification bell to get every single one of my videos. And we can talk about it. Like and comment this video. We can talk about Malik Willis, man. Should we take a quarterback or should we not? Let's go. Boom.